think it's always the small things that make the biggest difference and the biggest impact. Kind of look around you, what's on your doorstep, how can you kind of come together to create some magic. There's a real passion and thought gone into every aspect of the hotel, and I think for guests it creates this really nice kind of atmosphere and this kind of wonderful, unique experience. You know, there's lots of beautiful hotels out there, but what makes your property stand out and what unique experiences can you bring to the table that no other property can? These small gestures, you know, they go a long way in kind of building a strong reputation. Ultimately, what we're doing is like we're selling experiences. For us, it's about encouraging the team as well, encourage them to use their personality and to kind of take the initiative. You know, you go for it. If you think it's going to make the customer happy, do it.
Series 8 of the Dig podcast. I can't believe it, guys. We are over 250,000 downloads and the growth of the podcast has been amazing. But I just have one thing I'm asking of you guys today. If you love listening to the Dig podcast and you love all the new guests each week, then I'm asking if you could hit subscribe or follow. So if you listen on Apple or Spotify, if you could hit follow, and if you watch on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It means the podcast reaches more people. When I reach out, people actually have heard of the Dig podcast, they know about it and they're more willing to be a guest, and then I'm able to bring even more actionable advice to you guys. So it's really it really helps the podcast grow. So I'm asking for your help on that point today, and I just can't wait to dive into this series, and I can't wait for you to hear from our next guest. On the Dig podcast today, I have right beside me here Michelle Blake. So Michelle is Director of Sales and Marketing at Dublin Hotel Dublin. Now that's very relevant because that's where we are. I feel very well, you know, going from the kitchen table recording the podcast, which is absolutely fine, to be sitting in a 5-star boutique hotel in Dublin is just, it's phenomenal for me and the podcast, and just so lovely to have Michelle joining me here because she is going to talk to us about the magic behind the hotel, why it's so special and how they create that 5-star experience, which is what we all in business and work want to be doing with our customers. We want those 5-star touches, those little bits of magic that make you memorable. And that's what the Dublin has done for us anyway as a team over the last few days. Michelle, she has committed to training her team and travelling the world. Like I was talking to her on our call before we came on, and like she goes all around the world promoting the hotel. And then when people come, obviously it has to live up to those expectations, and it absolutely does. She talks about, and she will talk about today, that touch point, you know, for the customer. Like there's loads of different places you'll come into contact with your customer or your client, and are you coming up to standards in all of those? We had a really long conversation on the phone about that, and I just know that what we're going to talk about today, you're going to be able to implement this in your business, regardless if it's hospitality. What we talk about is very relevant across them all. So to have her here is great. We've had an awesome time, and it's not over yet. We're staying for another wee while this evening. So welcome to the Dig podcast, Michelle.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh no,
thank you.
We're buzzing, like we're loving life, the whole team here. The Dublin Hotel is special, and you can feel it when you're here. What is so special about it? Tell us, for people who are listening and they don't know.
The Dublin Hotel is a hidden gem in Dublin. So we are a 5-star boutique. We're a family-owned property, and Gráinne Ross, the managing director, is based on property. So I think you really feel that love and passion throughout the hotel. And they've instilled a culture within the hotel as well that's friendly, open, inviting. But also they've given the team the intuition, or the what's the right word, to sort of to kind of use their own experience and to excel in customer service. So I think that's sort of the vibe that they've created. I think what makes us stand out maybe towards other hotels in Dublin is, I suppose, firstly, our location. We are based in Dublin 4, so just off Bagot Street. We're about a 15-minute walk into the very heart of the city centre, but we're located in what is known as Georgian Dublin. So it's that picture postcard, beautiful Georgian homes, the colourful doors, the gorgeous architecture. You know, it's the dream neighbourhood to live in. It's got gorgeous bars, restaurants right on the doorstep. And then you're so close to the hustle and bustle. we're kind of tucked away. So I think guests of the Dublin can enjoy this relaxed, sophisticated vibe, but they can access the hustle and bustle of the city centre really easily as well. And I think, secondly, the size of the property, I think, is very unintimidating. Our largest meeting room can seat 16 people. So there's never, 200 solicitors at the bar. There's not a big conference. Like, you're not getting lost in a mill of people. It feels very welcoming. And we are that kind of home away from home for people. And I think kind of finally, I suppose, really it's the design and the artwork within the hotel and the love and the passion that's gone into that. With the restoration that we completed last year, keep forgetting what year we're in, 2023, each piece of furniture was handcrafted in Longford by Gem Joinery. All the artwork is from Paris Court Townhouse. So Catherine O'Riordan and her team there curated this gorgeous collection of artwork like Alice Fitzgerald, the Emma O'Hara ceramics. So there's real passion and thought gone into every aspect of the hotel. And I think for guests, it creates this really nice kind of atmosphere and this kind of wonderful, unique experience when they stay here.
And I know you don't mind because I okayed it with you before, but we had to move around a little bit of furniture to get our podcast set up, and we were like touching and holding the furniture, like heavy, beautiful pieces. And I suppose like you guys could have created a boutique hotel with, not thinking about the Irish roots and the heritage and all the different great things that we have going on here. So there's something really important about that, I suppose, in every kind of business, like celebrating what makes you unique and doing that. Is that something that like, obviously it was done a conscious decision to do that?
Yeah, because it isn't always the easiest decision, or it isn't always the most cost effective decision. But I think if you're thinking long term about your product and what your unique selling points are, and I know for the owners it was the longevity as well. They knew that they could stand over the quality. They knew that it would stand the test of time, and that kind of plays into your sustainability, that you're going to that you're going to have these pieces for 5-10 years and that they're going to remain good quality, and that you're not going to be replacing things. So yeah, like with the renovation, each piece of furniture was bespoke made to measure for each room in Longford by Gem Joinery. Like even I know I touched on this earlier today, the tables that are in our Ruby Room cocktail bar were made by a veneerist in Donegal. So each piece of wood is pressed and set onto the top of the table to make this really intricate design. And it ties back into the history of the hotel. So while you might not know that, it kind of brings it all together. It's this lovely Irish story that ties into kind of the history. And it gives us the talking point, and it makes, for our guests, it gives them a unique experience that they're not going to get in any other hotel, that there was real thought and kind of love and passion put into every single decision.
And all businesses could be doing this in their own field. Like, this isn't just about hospitality. This is about bringing your reasons why, your values and all to your business. How do you do that? Like, is that something like your marketing? So that's your background. That's all really, really good way of getting your customer interested. So like, I'm thinking of everybody that listens, Michelle. So like, there's hairdressers listening, solicitors from all scopes of business, but this isn't just about hospitality. You guys have really thought about, embracing the local community, the local artists and stuff. So I love that. I think there's a lot of learning there for people.
Yeah, and it kind of works both ways, because what I've found is, in turn, the local community support us. So, I think it certainly does work both ways. So it's really good to kind of look around you, what's on your doorstep, how can you kind of come together to create some magic. It's normally something really simple, like at Christmas this year, we created a workshop for journalists, but also businesses that have supported us throughout the year and some of our key customers. So it was like a Christmas, we made like these beautiful kind of Christmas centerpieces with Ginkgo Florist, which is a local florist on Bagot Street. And we just had some fun for the day. We all made these gorgeous centerpieces that we took home, and it was a real celebration of like Christmas and neighborhood and thank you and all of that. Those kind of partnerships really work for us particularly, because we welcome a huge number of international guests in the summer months, particularly out from the US market. And when they come to Ireland, like there's all the places that they have on their list, like Guinness Storehouse and Trinity and tick, tick, tick. But actually what they really want is like, they want to meet people. They want to talk to the neighbours. They want like the hidden gems that you're like, you need to go over to Sutherland Interiors because she has the most gorgeous collection of Jared Byrne artwork. And they feel like, ooh, I can't get that anywhere else. And that's like this little nugget that Dylan have shared with me. And it's off the beaten track. And we all want those experiences when we're traveling. So that's kind of what we do. We create, it's something I'm working on actually at the moment, is creating a map for our customers that will have, I suppose, walking trails that will include not just, you know, the typical kind of tourist attractions that they will want to, and certainly we will encourage them to visit, but also those little hidden gems that you're like, did you know that there's an amazing artist on St. Mary's Road that opens up her house and she has this gallery of artwork that you can go in and experience this very unique experience. So yeah, it's kind of a combination of bringing the neighbourhood together and alive with the kind of, I suppose, the main tourist attractions that people come to Dublin for as well.
Yeah, and it's like shining a light on other businesses, and in turn that will obviously, you know, help your business as well. But if you can't shine a light on the others around you, you can't grow either, I believe. So yeah, that's amazing advice. I think people are listening, they think, what else is around you that you could, you know, work with and collaborate with and try to really bring your brand to light through that. So that's what you guys do really well.
Yeah, I think it kind of just elevates the whole experience for everybody, that they're getting is something that isn't, it's unique. I think that's what people are looking for, particularly in hospitality, when they travel or they're staying in a hotel. You know, there's lots of beautiful hotels out there, but what makes your property stand out and what unique experiences can you bring to the table that no other property can? And certainly here on Bagot Street, nobody else can offer guests, you know, this experience with Ginkgo Florist. No other hotel in Dublin can offer guests, you know, Sutherland Interiors across the road with Jared Byrne artwork. So there's all of these very, very unique things that we can kind of share with our guests that other hotels can't.
You know, and that is definitely the things that make it so special. And like, whenever we were talking on the phone, you had said to me that personalised experience is so important to the Dublin Hotel. And you told me about this story. It's so simple.
Yes, it normally is. Yeah, the simple things are what works.
Because there will be people listening, Michelle, and they'll say, oh, it's okay for the 5-star boutique hotel in Dublin to talk about all of this things that they do. But this is what you told me you did. Anyone can do. Tell us about this. It's a really small thing.
It's a really small thing. And I think it's always the small things that make the biggest difference and the biggest impact. So, for example, it was a US guest and they were departing very early in the morning to catch their flight. So they had a conversation with the night team when they returned from dinner, just to say, our taxi's picking us up at like 5 a.m. And they said, oh, okay, like you're going to miss breakfast, but can we prepare some nice coffees for you? Like, what is it that you like? You know, flat white, cappuccino, we'll prepare a barista coffee for you. So they were delighted. They gave their order. And in the morning when they came downstairs, they had prepared croissants for them and some nice yogurts and pastries and continental breakfast that they could take with them on their journey with their bespoke coffee. And they wrote this amazing review for us. And they said they had the conversation with the taxi driver, and the taxi driver said, actually, the hotel treat me the same way. When I pick up my guests, they're always saying, can I get you a coffee? How can I look after you? What is your coffee? Like, what is your choice? So I think
to the taxi driver. No, I didn't know that part. No, we didn't get to hear that part. That's pretty special.
And then the taxi driver was just saying like and I guess it's just the culture of the hotel. Like that's, you know, what we do. Like we're in hospitality. It's all about the welcome and looking after people. But these small gestures, you know, they go a long way in kind of building a strong reputation. And, you know, in turn, to have a taxi driver talking positively about you is so important. You know, they meet so many people every day. They're always being asked for recommendations, and, you know, you want to be front and centre when they're thinking of, you know, a nice property in Dublin. So it's little touches. It really is. It's make it personal, be friendly, be kind, don't say no. You know, there's always an alternative. Even if you can't do what the person has requested, just find an alternative and let them down gently if you need to. But, you know, I think that's the best advice.
Recently, I've been doing some research on different like conditions, family, like things that are going on in different health conditions online. And, you know, it's very hard sometimes to find the right information. And definitely my go-to now is Mars Pharmacy. I found Mars online during COVID actually, and started to follow along, started to follow the owner, Una, and all the unreal advice she was given for everyday issues that we all experience, educating us on things that are going on in everyday life, but we just don't know the facts and how to treat those things and how to, you know, what we should be doing, and just unbelievable education really. And that was started my relationship with Mars way back a few years ago, and we're absolutely delighted that they're now the partner for the Dig podcast, and you're going to hear a little bit more about them today.
At Mars, we're passionate about gut health and educating on the importance of a healthy gut and its many benefits that it can have for your overall health as well. A healthy gut not only benefits your digestive system, but it also supports your immune system, your mental health, your skin health, and even your metabolic health too. Eating a healthy diet with a variety of plant-based foods, getting regular exercise and good quality sleep can all contribute to a healthy gut. A food supplement such as Simprove can also be really beneficial. Simprove contains 4 strains of live and active bacteria which reach the gut alive, where they survive and thrive, getting to work to rebalance and support your microbiome. Visit us at mars.ie or contact us on our social media for more information and advice on gut health. And don't forget, we also ship to Northern Ireland, and you can enjoy 15% off all full priced items on mars.ie with the code DIG15. And receive a free treat in every online order dispatched from our busy warehouse here in Dublin.
Thank you so much for that, Una. And now back to our guest on the Dig podcast. We talked about how each touch point is important. So yes, from the ring up, like, and some businesses excel, and then just one small thing can just bring them down. So how do you manage that? Is that about training? What is that about? Awareness? How do you combat that? Or how do you make sure that each touch point is 5-star? That's hard work, right?
It is hard work, yeah, it is. Because I guess in hospitality, there are so many. So it is about training. It's about, I guess, the manager or the management of the hotel have to make sure that each department is aware how important their job is and the part that they play in the whole sales process. So for example, like in hotels, you'll get an inquiry through. You know, then there's somebody that has to filter that, send out a proposal in like a timely manner, you know, work with that client. That can be for over the space of a year if it's an international piece of business. Get it to contract, all of that. Eventually the client comes, then it's over to the operations team who have to, you know, provide and deliver the service that's been promised. And then the final step, you know, really is like things like invoicing and receipts and all of that comes afterwards. You know, sometimes that part I think people can forget about, but it's actually really vital as well to ensure that every step, even at the very, very end, that they're still receiving, you know, that 5-star service, and that their customer service journey is made easy, and that you do everything, you take away the hard work, make it easy on them. And I think that's, you know, if you make people's life easy, they'll come back again and again.
They absolutely will. And every business, like, there's touch points, like you ring up to book an appointment for your nails, and then when you get there, how you're greeted, and then for example, I'm sure like most people who listen, go to hairdressers, whether that's for your colour or a blow dry if you're lucky once a week, would be amazing. But my hairdresser will say to me flippantly, do you want a wee cup of tea?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I would love a cup of tea. She does she realise what that means to me? That means so much to me. That's the only cup of tea I'm getting that day, that nobody's going to like take off me, or I'm going to get to drink hot. And, you know, I say, oh my God, I just love going to the hairdressers. I love, and she makes my experience there, just with those small touches. There's people listening and, you know, just trying to make it relative. Like what you guys do, yes, it's on a huge scale for some people because we're in Dublin and it's a 5-star hotel, but this is simple things.
It's simple things. Yeah, really. It's because we're still in the customer service business. Like it's, you know, it's all about hospitality. It's a customer centric business. Like we're not a high tech business. Like, of course there's technology that we use, but ultimately what we're doing is like we're selling experiences. You know, and we have these beautiful dinners and bars and restaurants and cocktails, and we can do it all. But like, ultimately it comes down to like the person that they're dealing with, and the the conversation that they're having and the interaction. So you have to, I guess for us, it's about encouraging the team as well, that they can I suppose encourage them to use their personality and to kind of take the initiative with the customer. Like, for example, the night person that said, what I'm going to organise before the chef comes in, I'm going to bake croissants and make sure that they're ready and fresh for that guest when they depart in the morning. And there wasn't this fear that, oh no, I'm not allowed to do that, or oh, would I get in trouble if I do that? So there's none of that here. It's like, you go for it. If you think it's going to make the customer happy, do it. There's no bad decision, it's all about, we just want the customer to be happy, and like we want to exceed their expectations. Like we want them to get into the taxi and go, wow, wasn't that lovely? Yeah. Like that was special.
I think that's every business owner wants that when someone walks away from their business, that they say, oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
What that service I received or whatever. So I think just to get people thinking about what could you do in your business that leaves that lasting thought.
Yes.
I really can't wait to go back there, or that was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that they couldn't imagine going anywhere else, that they're like, you know what?
They have my loyalty.
They have my loyalty, that you're building that kind of loyalty. And not, no two customers are the same either. Like I think in hospitality, what we really try and do is listen to the customer as well. So like some customers will really want like interaction, they want conversation, they want to hear all about it, all the different things that you can do in Dublin and your favourite restaurants. And you kind of have to, you'll, of course, like with those guests, it's easy. You can like go into full conversations and they're more than happy. And then there's other guests that are quite private and they want a different experience, and you have to respect that as well. So it's not one size fits all either. You have to kind of read the customer and listen and kind of, take it from there. So
well, that's not easy. Like that definitely requires training and a lot of time, and that certainly I don't take that for granted at all, that would be an easy thing to do. But I suppose we're all reading all our clients and customers all the time and trying to figure out what they want from us. So, and I can see that in the Dillon, every time you come up to the desk, they're figuring out what you need. Can they get in front of it? So I felt it already. So you touched there on technology, and I know things have changed so much in the hospitality industry. What I'm just curious to know about the technology side of things, and how has Dillon Hotel embraced like technology for the customer, or for even how you do things? What's been going on with that?
With that, I mean, on the customer side, so for the customer, there's things like smart TVs that they can watch their own Netflix. We have Netflix here, but they can also, if they have their own downloads that they want to watch, like things like that. Now people are traveling with, they just want to connect.
Yes.
So it has to be smart. So things like that, and like speakers in the room that they can connect again, their Spotify or their music, listen to their podcasts. So there's kind of touches like that are important to the customer. And then there's things that they don't see behind the scenes. So like check-in procedures are now getting to a stage where they won't have to go to a desk. It'll be all done by iPad, particularly for a property like this, that they can just sit in the bar. We can walk over, they can just tick a box and we can hand them their key and they can go to their room whenever they're ready. So it'll be making that whole process a lot more customer centric and really streamlined. And then technology in terms of communication has changed a lot, and how we communicate with the guests has changed a lot. So, emails, we have like pre-stay concierge emails. So they're set up to be sent to the guests at lots of different stages depending on when they booked. So it could be 6 months out, 30 days out, 24 hours out. So, and the messaging will always be slightly different. But it's about keeping that communication over, and then post-stay, that they get their review emails and that they can leave some feedback. It's really important, and that you can follow up with them then and kind of use their details if they agree to it, obviously, for email marketing. So those kind of things have changed a lot. And then there's all kinds of kind of systems and things for like revenue and all that boring stuff.
I know, but the things that make everything tick and work. But it's just amazing to see, as you say, like being able to just log on to your own Netflix, and it's just, times are changing, you're embracing it. And I suppose some businesses stick their head in the sand about the changes, but you have to move forward with what's happening because the customer expects it, right?
Yes, yeah. And they'll be disappointed if they come, like if they have something at home and they come to a hotel and they don't have it. they're like, and they expect you expect your 5-star hotel experience to be nicer than your home.
That's what I had that experience before, where I went to a hotel and I said, Jared, oh my God, I'm so disappointed. Our house is nicer than this. And he was like, I know, why did we come here? And you don't want to feel, nobody wants to feel that anymore.
No.
Because why would you leave? Yeah, if people's houses are lovely and nice now, and you don't want to leave it. So I get that, they want that experience they're not going to get at home. Like, I don't get a second cup of coffee at home. And you guys came to me this morning with another cup of coffee. And I was like, I'll take it. So all those wee things people remember. But Michelle, the podcast this whole series is all about thriving in business and life, right? So Mars Pharmacy, we're so lucky. And actually
I love that shop.
Yeah. So collaboration, we're working with Mars. They said you need to go to the Dublin to record. So they collaborated and we all got together because of them. Who would have thought it? So anyway, we're working with them. And they wanted to bring the whole element to life within the series about, we need to look after ourselves, right? So we can't be good at work if we're not looking after all the things. So you told me you're a mum and you've 2 wee ones and you're marketing manager here. And how do you look after yourself in business and life? I don't even know if I told you I was going to ask you this question, but what do you do to look after yourself? Like, is there anything particular you like to do?
I think, well, when you're a mom, I think, and it's a juggle. So the juggle is real for sure. But I love Mars on Bagot Street, amazing. I stock up on all their vitamins and all the stuff and makeup, and every Friday I'm there. But it's finding time for yourself, and for me it's probably a half an hour in the evening that I get when I put the kids to bed and I go out for a run. And I'm not the best runner in the world at all, but it's like this headspace that I'm like, okay, the day I listen to a podcast, I put on some music and just take 30 minutes to kind of run very slowly. And then just kind of eat well. And I think that's kind of it. I mean, I'm busy for sure. When you have kids and working, it's all like hectic, and I travel a little bit for work as well. So I kind of eat well and exercise and take the vitamins, and that kind of keeps me on the straight and narrow.
I hope that keeps you going. Yeah. So I'm trying to
coffee as well.
I know, and they do the best coffee here, but I'm trying to work on sleep. That's one of the things that because I'm work late into the night and then be up and down with the kids, as you know, like loads of people who are listening, and then the sleep, and then you're not the best you can be the next day.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm trying to work on 2024. I'm not saying I'm any good at it, but I'm aware of it now, and I really need to work on that. But I'm interested to hear with each guest what they're doing. So yours is running.
Well, but not.
I know, but still, you like to get a house on your own to do a bit of exercise. So I'll be interested to hear from all the Dig podcast listeners what they do. Thank you for being on the Dig podcast. Thank you for everything. for like, I've told it a few times, we started the Dig podcast just at the kitchen table during COVID, and with hardly any equipment and not really knowing what we were doing, and now to be here is it's just brilliant. And thank you so much for your hospitality, and 5-star hospitality has been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to everybody for listening to the Dig podcast this week. I hope you got some value from that. We can all give those magic touches. Like if you are a solicitor, an estate agent, a hairdresser, beautician, you have a big corporate company, you need those memorable moments to make people be loyal, because it's so noisy out there. They'll go to the person that makes them feel special, and the Dublin Hotel does that in a very special way, but you can do it too. So I hope you have got some actionable tips. Don't forget to subscribe if you watch on YouTube, follow if you're on Apple and Spotify, because those little follows and subscribes actually help us reach more people with the podcast and help more people. Thank you for listening to another week of the Dig podcast.